Welcome. We are here with our lunch hour session. We try to do these every quarter just to touch base and find out what's going on with HBI, both on campus and off campus in the community, and talk about a couple of different things that we have going on. We got a small group here. Feel free to unmute or throw things in the chat if you have questions, and we can just have a conversation as we go along. My name is Bryce Lord. I am the Associate Director for HBI. My contact information is there. If you have any questions that come up afterwards or when I sit down and have coffee, I'm always happy to do that. So we're going to jump right in here. We have HBI covers three different primary areas of programming. That is education, research, and then community support. We're going to start off talking about some things that we've got going on in the education space. And as you may know, we do not have undergraduate education in the nonprofit management program here at UWM, but we do focus on graduate and non-credit education. We've got some things to talk about in terms of graduate education. We have some new courses that have just come out in the last year. All of them are online. Were developed to be online courses. And this is sort of a move that we're trying to make to be a little bit more nimble and accessible around the state, not just in Milwaukee. So we're gradually looking at building out our online options as well. We do have a social media course specifically looking at building social a community around a particular cause using digital media. I actually teach that myself. We offered it for the first time this past spring of 2021. And this fall, we have two brand new courses taught by one of our new faculty members, Erica Seika, who is based in Chicago right now during the pandemic. And so it was kind of convenient that these be developed online as well, looking specifically at the broader area of nonprofit finance, not just organization, but sector-wide, and as well as looking at the ethics of working in both the public and nonprofit sectors. We find that a lot of our courses already do touch on ethics in their different areas, the ethics of fundraising, the ethics of executive leadership, and so on. But this is a course that really pulls it all together and kind of helps to focus on that particular area. We're really excited too. We're always looking at different ways to provide sort of a value add for our students and alumni. And we've got a couple things in the pipeline. Some of this we have had in the past, but a couple things that are coming up in the next year that we're very excited about. Historically, for the last 4 or 5 years, we have offered our students and alumni a membership into the Milwaukee chapter of the Young Nonprofit Professionals Network. That will continue. We're very excited to be able to offer that networking opportunity for our students. We are looking to develop something similar for those of our students that are looking to get more into volunteer management, volunteer coordination, as providing a free membership to the local chapter of the Association of Volunteer Managers here in southeastern Wisconsin. One of the things that is in development that we're very excited about is partnering with the local chapter of the Association of Fundraising Professionals here in southeastern Wisconsin to host and provide a student chapter that would be eligible in both Madison and Milwaukee areas. And that would not just be for UWM students, it would be for any higher education student at any university in southeastern Wisconsin. So UWM, Marquette, Mount Mary, Concordia, all of them we would be hosted here at UWM by HBI, working in partnership with our local chapter. So look for more on that in the next year. As the school year gets up and running, we'll be able to kind of promote more about that and and hopefully build some solid connections for students who are interested in nonprofit work, specifically helping to build their fundraising skills and connections. So very excited. Probably the biggest news that we have in terms of our educational offerings are sort of a new format of education that's very new to higher education in the US generally, and that's the idea of a micro-credential. This is kind of a micro-credential is kind of a industry term, we'll call it, that refers to a small cluster of courses focused around a certain sort of technical skills building area that can then be translated into a badge that you would receive upon completion that you can stick on your resume or on your LinkedIn profile, whatever the case may be. This is in active development here at UWM over the summer. We'll be hopefully launching this whole initiative in the fall, in September, as it starts the whole behind the scenes governance process. We're very excited that the nonprofit management programs here at UWM are the guinea pig, or shall we say pilot program to push through the system. And we have identified these 7 primary areas in sort of within the scope of nonprofit management and leadership to focus on. And so eventually, I think as the dust settles, and potentially by then, January of 2022, we will have these different, we'll call them clusters, that will then result in a badge or specialization in these different areas. These are graduate level courses. All of them are 4 courses of 3 credits each. So you would actually earn 12 graduate credits as well as that sort of specialization. One of the nice things that we're able to do is the way that we've structured these things is for all current students in a the Master of Science of Nonprofit Management and Leadership, if they follow the particular course structure of these badges, they'll then also walk away with a Master of Science in Nonprofit Management, as well as this specialization badge upon graduation. So it's something that we're very excited about. We're very happy to sort of be that pilot and be able to push this out to the broader community. So as I said, look for more public information on this in the fall as we then are able to offer this in the spring. So exciting stuff. So we'll move on to the topic of research, which is always an HBI focus as we look at how different factors play out in the nonprofit sector of not just Milwaukee or Wisconsin, but arguably on a couple of occasions internationally as well. As you probably know, we have been conducting a now 2-year-long study into the effect of COVID-19 and the resulting closures on the nonprofit sector of Wisconsin. And that report came out, the second report was just released this week and is available for download on our website. It was somewhat encouraging compared to the first report that we issued at the beginning of last year, that there is some settling of some of the impact that we were seeing last year as organizations are able to kind of figure out their how to deliver their services, how to engage with their communities and their funders. Some of that, we've seen a settling of this and less stress, less distress in organizations. There are still a lot of issues. We noted that approximately 5% of Wisconsin nonprofits have closed their doors, with the possibility of that increasing over time. The plan is and has always been that we will then do sort of a follow-up survey. This would end up, if we, that should say mid-March of 2022, so next March, which would then be at the 2-year mark of where we started this, to really get a sense of how everybody has weathered the storm 2 years in, and with the idea that we will perhaps, if it's determined necessary, follow up with annual surveys just to kind of see how everybody's doing and track that recovery process. The other big research project that we are in the middle of the beginning stages of are a look into compensation and benefits for nonprofits around Wisconsin. This will culminate in a report that we hope to be able to provide information, not just here in Milwaukee, but all over the state, as we look at how different regions are able to compensate their employees and the general workforce. The survey is currently live and will be available through the end of September. After that, we'll start right away compiling all the information and putting the report together for a late fall distribution. The report itself will not be free. It will be, we will charge a fee of $100 because it's anticipated to be a very, very large document. However, if your organization takes part in the survey, you will receive that free copy just for helping us compile that information and sharing your organizational data around compensation and benefits. That's about that. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other community support initiatives. And these are things that are completely separate from education and research in terms of graduate education and research initiatives. Last year, we were very excited to launch our Nonprofit Skills Academy, which is a non-credit compilation of courses. This is done in partnership with Candid, which, as you might know, is a partnership between GuideStar and the Foundation Directory Online that provides access to a number of different databases, as well as a lot of educational opportunities, both free and for fee. And so for the past year, we have been providing online access to the Foundation Directory Online to something over 400 different nonprofits statewide, as well as offering a bank of about 6 non-credit free courses that focus on different aspects of fundraising. In starting this fall, we will actually be starting some fee-based courses. Those are listed in front of you. These are also done in partnership with Candid. I'm very excited about this, a two-day long or 2 afternoon long proposal writing workshop, where we will actually spend time really hammering out the details, the specifics, the stylistic issues of proposal writing, as well as budgeting and all of those issues that go into grant proposals. It will be fee-based. As I said, it'll be 2 days long. We're still hammering out the details of whether this will be face-to-face or online or a mixture of that, working with the trainers at Candid and figuring out the best way to move forward. And then there were also a couple of opportunities that'll come up after 2022, looking at really breaking down the cultivation of individual donors and your individual giving programs, as we really kind of break down the most important aspects of developing that kind of a program. And then finally, looking particularly around fundraising, looking at how to oversee fundraising with outcomes in mind, specifically working towards that end goal, and how to approach your organization's fundraising initiatives overall. Again, that's something that we're really pleased with being able to provide that to the Milwaukee community and beyond, as we figure out, how we might be able to provide this to the broader statewide audience as well. And then we're really excited. We've been talking, a lot of people in Milwaukee have been talking for years, since the closure of the Nonprofit Center of Milwaukee, what we can do to support the broader Milwaukee community in terms of providing resources, providing capacity building resources. And a number of these organizations have gotten together, including HBI, to have a sort of collaborative initiative around this question. The partners are listed there: Nonprofit Management Fund, the Urban Economic Development Association, the United Way, the Nonprofit Academy of Wisconsin, Jobs that Help, and LISC are all part of these discussions. And there are more. I believe Marquette and their nonprofit legal clinic also just joined the mix. So it's a growing list of organizations that focus on providing resources to the nonprofits of Milwaukee that are coming together to really figure out how we can be more collaborative in what we offer and making sure that it's getting out to the people that need it. We recently, over the last month and a half, held 3 different listening sessions with leaders from both nonprofit organizations and philanthropic organizations, and asked them a lot of questions about what they saw as the most pressing needs and suggestions about the most useful ways to approach this. And we will be meeting again in the month of September to sort of unpack all of that and figure out the best way to move forward. This is piggybacking off of what you may remember, Project Pivot and HBI back in 2019 conducted a Milwaukee-wide needs assessment of looking at nonprofit resources and figuring out where nonprofit needs were most pressing. And we're still working on the implementation phase of how to support the findings of that, as well as some of the information that came out of our COVID-19 studies. And so we're really actively looking at not just sitting on data, but actually how to then implement solutions based on what we have found. And we're really excited that a lot of these different organizations are joining in the mix. We'll be holding a discussion roundtable specifically on the topic of nonprofit technology later this week. That's a private event of just kind of a lot of people in that space just thinking their way through how to manage that. And we'll be doing similar roundtables on different topic areas as well, like program evaluation and fundraising and so on. So, so we actually do, try to put our money where our mouth is and follow up with everything that we have found so far. That's a lot. That's a lot of things that are on our plate here. We're really kind of looking forward to getting more of this information out. I want to point out that I've been kind of rambling here quite a bit, but HBI is going into its 20th anniversary this year. We're very excited about that, as you can probably imagine, and we have several different things in the works. Some of this is tied to some of the things you've seen here, and we hope to be able to promote that in the near coming months. Look for more about how we plan on celebrating both here on campus and in the broader community. As I said, there's a lot of information there, and I really raced through it. But please feel free if you have any questions or comments or things you want to throw out there, gossip. I'm always open to that. I'd love to have a conversation. And barring any other questions, that's really all the information we have here. Obviously, we didn't have too many other people join in. A little disappointing considering how many people registered, but these things happen. It's a beautiful day. I'm planning on going for a walk as soon as we're done here myself. So if there are any other questions that come up at a different time, again, my contact information is there. I'm always happy to have a phone call or a Zoom call or a coffee chat and see where thoughts are going and what partnerships exist or might exist and how we might be able to connect better that way.